All right, family. So I just got done with a live. Like just a couple minutes ago, I got done with a live. And then I get a text. And it's my homie. And he's telling me, yo, bro, we just bombed Iran. So I had to jump back on here. I immediately checked. Like, I'm always going to do like a little bit of research and check and see what's up. So I checked. And from what I'm seeing, 100%, we just bombed Iran. Not once, not twice, but seems to me like we bombed Iran thrice. So I want to get into this. I want to check all of this out. I see people saying we're doomed. I see a lot of people like acting like this is like the end of anything. We're going to talk first about what was done and then like what our potential liabilities in this situation are. Because like, let's face it, there's not all that much that Iran can do to us, but they do have at least one ally. They're low on allies right now. They are definitely low on allies. But I don't think we're doomed. So I don't want you guys to like get in a place immediately where you're scared or you're thinking worst case scenario, because I don't think that that's where we're at. Just Jay said they effed around and they found out. So let's get into all of this. Let's talk about all of this. China is definitely not going to risk beef with us over Iran. China has bowed out. Russia is no longer standing with Iran. If Iran has any real ally in this fight, it is North Korea. And North Korea, it has nuclear capabilities. They are on some level a serious contender. You know what I'm saying? Let's not underestimate that. The situation as far as sleeper cells, very concerning. Very, very concerning as far as sleeper cells. But, you know, there's also the fact that we do have American troops that are on the ground, not in Iran, but within striking distance from Iran. So I don't want to be I don't want to like be doomsday about this. I want to be objective and realistic about this. And I don't want you guys to like I wanted to jump on here so that you guys didn't get super freaked out immediately by this. We're going to look at all of this objectively. I love you guys. We're in this together. Everything's going to be okay. If anybody needs to, it's all going to be okay. Joel Hoover said, I'm worried about sleeper cells. That is a legitimate concern because we know in this country, we have legitimate intel that there are over 1,000 sleeper cells in this country that could be activated. And it has been released that just this morning, a lot of those sleeper cells were told to get active. So that happened before this happened. I'm wondering if this was in response to that order being given out. Flarp Top said, just joined the army. Am I cooked, JD? I wouldn't feel too cooked yet, man. I don't think that this is a situation where we're going to be putting any boots on the ground. That does not make sense in Iran at all whatsoever. And I know that it's Iran and Iran, and that I'm saying Iran. I don't respect them, so I'm not. I just don't care. Not a robot. Big love to you, but first and foremost, let's get into this. Let's check out what we actually know before we let ourselves get too freaked out here, you guys. Okay, so we're gonna figure out exactly what it is that we know, and then we'll formulate our opinions from there. Because I haven't even fully watched this. I jumped right on here to hang out with you guys so we could all do this together.
This is a Fox News alert. News from the President of the United States that there has been an attack inside Iran. Just moments ago, President Donald Trump putting out on Truth Social, we have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. Again.
So that's important to know. There were 3 sites that they have marked as nuclear sites. Our planes went in, our planes handled the business, and our planes got out.
And this from President Donald Trump. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Now, what he was reading was like what Trump himself put out. That was Trump put that on Truth Social, his social media thing. I've never been on there. But that's from Trump himself. And they're just reading that off. So let's see what else we've got here. Jason Goodman said, Iran has made threats to our troops. So karma, they were talking some real big ish, man. And if you threaten a major world superpower and they don't respond, it makes that major world superpower look weak. So on a stage of like a global scale, I understand. But let's not jump to any conclusions here until we figured all this out. Craig said, I'm a vet. I've lost many friends in the military. We don't want this fight. It's not ours. It's Israel's fight. Israel is lying to us. And we're going to get into all of that as well. Awesome Jake said, could you see yourself being enlisted if it came down to a Vietnam-style draft? If so, what branch would you join? I would join the Marines, but I'm too old for a draft, personally. And I tried to join the Marines at one point, and I already had one felony, and they said that I couldn't join. Hey, Kyle, go fuck yourself sideways. You're not going to be disrespectful in my house. You're a whole hoe. Go talk to your mom about it. Cry, bitch. Alex said, I hereby sentence Diddy to not be raped in jail. I love you, bro. All right, let's hear the rest of this before we start jumping to a whole bunch of conclusions and getting really upset, you guys.
Again, that's just seconds ago from President Donald Trump on Truth Social, suggesting that those B-2 bombers that perhaps were on the way may have been behind this. We'll get more details on these 3 sites that the president said has been attacked inside Iran.
Okay. So that is all of the information that came with that. We do know straight up that 3 bombs were dropped. We know that our people that were navigating those flights are out safely. So we have that information. I know people make fun of the way that I pronounce certain things. You guys are just going to have to live with it. I do what I do. I say what I say. It's not going to change. I love you guys, but I'm not changing up. I know I say nuclear weird. I also say pillow weird. I also say theater weird. It just is what it is. Neil Slammer, the start of World War III. I don't know about that, homie. I don't know that North Korea is going to care that much about this type of movement that they're going to try to do something like that. I really don't foresee that, bro. Let me know in the chat if you guys really think that North Korea is going to use this to start tossing nukes back and forth. I don't got them doing it. Timbo Slice said next 48 hours is going to decide if the rest of the world wants war or if this attack was big enough to make the world think twice. I think this was the least amount of presence that we could have run in this situation. I think that this was really us really shooting it as mellow as we possibly could. This could have been a whole lot more severe, in my opinion. I think we ran this like pretty mellow. Now, we also have a live over here that we can look at and see what is being told to us live. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Let's find out.
In his regime that he probably hasn't calculated.
We do know that President Trump has said that Khamenei himself would be an easy target, but the U.S. Has not chosen to kill him. That was what he put on Truth Social not too long ago.
That is true. Trump did come out and say that they know his location, that they could take him out, that they're not trying to do that. And I think that would have been an act of all-out war. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing is they've been feeding us this line for 20 years about Iran and nuclear weapons. So, I mean, at what point do we go, you're crying wolf? Because they haven't popped off with nothing yet. Monk, Navy vet here, not our fight. Israel started this. And that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Neil Slammer, Russia and China have already have Iran's back. World War III has started. Russia has come out and said they wouldn't have Iran's back. China's been really, really quiet. Those partnerships have dwindled seriously. Timbo Slice, I don't disagree. but used big ass bombs. Hell of a showcase, if you ask me. Those bombs were definitely some high powered shit. Definitely. Nail Slammer. I'm sorry. I called you Neil. I apologize, homie. Nail Slammer. Yeah, those partnerships don't seem to be getting them much of anywhere. In fact, Russia seems to have sided more with the US on this so far. Jonathan Lopez, US tends to create its own enemies. I don't disagree with that at all. 1953, along with the UK, they couped Iran, and this regime came from a revolution against the West-backed Shah. Even Al-Qaeda was US funded. I don't disagree with you at all whatsoever. I know that we have created a lot of situations that were 100% on our back, that we started some shit. We are where we are now. Alex said Trump still remains the only modern president not to start a ground war as president. His strategy is always to blast out of them. And this has stayed consistent with that, at least. Fly Medic Dunk, fuck around, find out in full effect right now. There is that.
Well, as we look at this map, this kind of lays out some of the facilities of interest, including nuclear facilities. Isfahan is on here, Natanz is on here, Bordeaux is on here. We've been talking about Bordeaux extensively, especially for the past few days. Did the Iranians have time, given all the discussion around this site, did the Iranians have the time to perhaps move pertinent hardware out of this facility before strike happened?
That's a darn good question. And I'm sure the Israelis have been asking that, the U.S., we've been asking that as well. I'm also sure that we had probably some.
Now, I call bullshit on that, man. Israel tends to be one step ahead. I think that if they were moving equipment out of facilities to make nuclear weapons, I 1000% believe that Israel would know that. Like, after the fucking pager attacks and shit, bro. Joel Hoover said, I think earthquake in Iran yesterday was a nuke test. That's definitely a high possibility. And there's things that we probably aren't going to know. Jeremy Perimeter, what's up, my dude? How you doing? Hey, big dog, what did I miss? I thought by this was still on the fence. No, they went ahead and they bombed 3 facilities that they believe were facilities to make nuclear weapons. Sven Goldsmith said, anti-Jewish genocide makes me a Nazi, I guess. That's weird, bro. Okay.
Intensive intelligence collection to try and verify if that had taken place. And
Trump gave them 2 weeks, but only 2 days, really. Well, here's the thing, is like you don't want to let them know when you're actually going to make the move, my guy, in war. You don't want them to see it coming. The element of surprise is going to be one of the number one things that you have to your advantage. You never want to let the enemy know when it's coming. If you're in real combat, if you're really going into something. Alexis Adams said, love your content, JD. I know I can come here for unbiased opinions in terms of politics. Thanks for giving everyone good info. Alexis, I love you. I love you, fam. And yeah, I'm not beholden to either party. I'm not beholden to any politician. I don't trust our government. I don't trust our politicians. I just want to talk about where we're at right now. Panda Mike, are you concerned about an invasion of the U.S., or do you think all of the corn-fed country boys like myself with guns could help hold it back? I'm not concerned about a foreign invasion that's not already here. I think that we already have a foreign invasion on our soil right now. I think that they let millions of military-age men in from all over the world. I believe that there are plenty of fucking sleeper cells in our country right now. And there was a report that they were ordered to get active this morning. That report came out. So it would make sense that would be seen as an act of war on our part. That if you have sleeper cells and you were told to get active against the American people, then you know what I'm saying? That's an act of war, in my opinion. Now, I'm not worried about them trying to invade. I don't think anybody's stupid enough to storm our fucking shores, bro. I don't think that would work out for them at all whatsoever. But as far as ones that are already here doing terrorist attacks, coward ass attacks like 9/11, 1000%, I think that's going to happen. Jeremy said on my phone and these thumbs that identifying as fat screwed me. I got the same thing. Element of surprise equals OPSEC, optional security. Facts, bro, facts. And Jonathan KG said there won't be any World War III Revelations chapter 19 in the Bible. Backwoods Templar, we've been dealing with the region for over 30 years. It's about time we do something real to deal with it. Many Americans have lost their lives there. And Alpha Collectibles, we need to pull out and let Israel deal with the fallout. They care so much. They need to peacekeep Iran for 10 plus years. American blood is not for Israel blood. Here, I agree with that 1,000 fucking percent. I agree with that 1,000 fucking percent. I would never support us putting a single boot on the ground. As far as if they have, here's the thing, is we don't know everything that they know. Like, we as civilians do not know what our government knows. So if our government knows that there is some actual relevant current threat that they might be close to making nukes and they need to deal with that, I understand. Putting a single American into Iran, absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. We should just pull back and be like, hey, you guys deal with your shit now. Get your shit. Archangel Michael George Akbar. It would already be on if it was World War III. They only announce that when they're on their way. This is nothing to worry about. They are that powerful. You won't feel it. UN, one world government. It's all a show. And like, look, man, we could go off on conspiracy theories because I do actually 100% believe that there is a lot at play as far as a one world government. I think that, if you really look at the situation with Biden opening the borders and then Trump coming in to close them and things getting really authoritative, it kind of looks like a fucking act to me. But I don't want to go super fucking conspiracy theorist on here because I know that it's not really relevant to what we're talking about right now. Ghost Rider said New World Order. So let's see what they're talking about.
But, the other side, too, certainly once Israel started attacking and their air superiority, which they have kind of referred to as air dominance, which sounds what we would doctrinally call air supremacy, which means they own the air, they own the skies. That if Israel was to try and, or Israel, if Iran was trying to move something, that Israel could probably engage them from the air or potentially engage them with whatever assets they had on the ground to try and stop that from happening. And I would be surprised if Israel hadn't built that into their planning process, the what if they try to move this here, what if they do that they had those plans already in place, that if they tried to move certain components to another location, that movement, that convoy, or whatever it is that they were trying to move those components would come under attack. So far as I can tell, that has not happened. One thing I would mention with Fordo, and this is something Iranians have to figure out, is, okay, what's the danger if we try to move it? And I would say if they try to move that stuff out of there, it would have been extremely high. Once they brought that stuff to the surface, I would be surprised if it wouldn't be immediately engaged once Israel had identified that as whatever it was tied to the nuclear program that they would.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like if they had it, I know we've been hearing for 20 years that they've been developing nuclear weapons. If they were and they had it underground as far as they did so that it wouldn't be detectable. If they brought it to the surface to move it, it would be detectable. And I do believe Israel would have known immediately. Now, I'm not saying that that's not the case and that we just don't have all the information yet, but that's what makes sense to me. Jeremy said boots on ground and pound should be reserved for the worst case scenario. And if we have been directly attacked, typing this phone is trash. I totally get it, bro. I don't think we should have boots on the ground for anything unless somebody comes the fuck over here, bro. Chad, the TH historian, send all the rednecks to Iran, give them beers, guns, and NASCAR. There will be nothing left for the Marines. I don't think we should do that, but I think it's fucking hilarious, bro. Big love on that. Yo, we got Spades Reaper in the chat. What's up, my G? Samurai said, even if they don't get nuclear tipped missile, having radioactive material could mean arming proxies with low yield suitcase nukes or dirty bombs. And that's a huge concern. That is a huge concern. I think it's a much more relevant concern than having them have nuclear missiles. I don't think that they would be lined up with nuclear missiles like that quickly, but like suitcase bombs, dirty bombs. Yeah. Jeremy said on the ground, not ground and pound. I got what you were saying, brother. Jonathan KG, there won't be any World War III. God has made promises in the Bible until Armageddon in the book of Revelations. Okay. Hey, thank you, mods. I know it's a little crazy in here. Big love and respect to you guys. You guys are killing it right now. Thank you to everybody who's hanging out with us. Wayne said, JD, I seriously wish you were a news anchor. I kind of do my thing. That's kind of what we're doing right now, bro. I'm just not beholden to anyone. These guys are beholden to advertisers. These guys are beholden to corporations. I'm just an asshole who gets to say what he really thinks. And I think I wouldn't want to give that up for anything. You know what I'm saying? Stop being a shill. Batitude, you are fucking gone, you fucking power lame. You are a fucking douchebag. Richie, oi. Old Gold, thanks for the updates. Yo, Lincoln Google Von Doofenfucker, what's up? They played SPM at my gym. They filled the air with sex offenderness while I was sweating. I feel so gross. I'm sorry, bro. That shit sucks. That's terrible.
So that probably in their minds are thinking, well, why don't we just keep it where it is in Fordo in those deep underground bunkers, those cavities, those facilities, and we'll just ride this out and hope that the U.S. can't take this out with their, MOP bombs from B2s. Well, that's now done. That's a fait accompli. It's been complete, so they're done, and so now it may very well be that the U.S. has eliminated the Iranian capability to create a nuclear device. It may be. I'm sure there's going to be more that comes out on that. And if we have not, if they have moved stuff and we know about it, or the Israelis know about it, and they're working with us, telling us where this stuff is, it's not impossible that you might find some follow-up action to address that continuing threat.
Yeah, so here's the thing is that, like, this is all such breaking news. Like, a lot of time I'll wait a little bit on reporting things so that I can get fully educated on it. And there's a little bit of time, because a lot of the times when something is breaking news, especially when it's big like this, you know that we don't get the full picture. You know that we don't get the full scope. I don't ever want to come to you guys with half-cocked shit. So that's why I'm just presenting this as just like, this is what we have right now. This is what they're letting us know in the moment. This is literally what we have. But, I felt like it was important to get ahead of this, because I know there's going to be a lot of people catastrophizing. And I don't think that this is going to be a World War III situation. I do worry about sleeper cells in this country and terrorist attacks, but they were already told to activate this morning, which I would interpret as a fucking act of war, personally. Munchie said, JD, my dog, what's up, brother? Click, click, boom. Love you, bro. Butt Knuckles, what's up? Believe it or not, historically speaking, we're living during the most peaceful time in human history. Either way, much love, JD. Really felt that short about quitting drugs and dealing with your thoughts. I love you, Butt Knuckles. And yeah, this is historically a relatively peaceful time. We've had a good run of not being involved with too much. Archangel George, Michael George Akbar, if you put your boots on the ground, you do know you would have asked Australia to go in first and recon them like every war since Korea. Boots on mates. Yeah, buddy. Let's see. Kraz said, I went to the Navy under Bush. No WMDs found. Rinse and repeat. This is dumb as fuck. America will fall on this. I don't think America's going to fall on this at all whatsoever. I just hope that we did what we did and then we get the fuck out. Let Israel deal with their problems over there. Can't freaking super chat about this subject. LMFAO. Bet this one sends, though. Love you, homie. I'm sorry. I know YouTube does what it does. Andrew said when that earthquake rocked Iran, it felt like that was God entering the battlefield. Probably gave Hegseth the confidence to tell Trump we're ready. And the other theory on that is that they were testing a nuke and that it wasn't an earthquake at all, but they were actually doing their initial nuke testing.
Topography, everything is very different. And so nobody wants to get involved with a ground war in Iran. And there's no doubt if anyone, if Israel was to try and do that, and you got to remember, I don't even know if Israel could pull that off because first off, the logistics would be overwhelming for Israel to try and put significant ground forces into Iran. And then the sheer geography and the size of the population would probably make that, almost impossible to really control. So nobody wants to do that. So that is something that works to Iran's favor, which is the U.S. doesn't want to go in there on the ground. Israel either doesn't or can't go in there on the ground, and nobody else is poised to go in there on the ground. So for Iran, they're not going to get overwhelmed by ground forces literally coming in like you saw with the U.S. and Iraq where it went into Baghdad. They're not looking at that type of scenario.
No, but I think that we've moved past that with our technology and our warfare anyway. It wouldn't make any sense to send ground troops in there. Not for us, at least. Maybe for somebody who doesn't have what we have. I don't think going in and just is how we get that shit done anymore. Jeremy said, I risk sounding like a total nut job. Do you believe in premonitions? Just wondering because I've had dreams of this situation since 17 years old. I absolutely believe in premonitions, bro. I absolutely do. Idaho's Deadpool. Thank you so much, homie. Love you. Thank you. I've been a pedo hunter for a decade. Kid family protector from Idaho, community helper, country protector. Love your stuff. Keep on keeping on. Retired Leo and second ID vet. 2 tours on DMZ Korea. Behind you all the way. Let's go. Wood chipper engage. Homie, I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, dog. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice to your country and your communities. Lena, we don't need another war. It costs taxpayers. 100% agree. Smithers, much love from Canada. Much love right back to you, brother. Bryce, JD, I hate to correct you, but there are currently between 58 active combat zones around the globe, most since World War II. I was not aware of that. Thank you for bringing me up to speed on that, brother. Blackbeard said, what up, JD? Love watching your videos. After working the night shift, took my niece out to eat. My wallet going to be hurting for a while. Blackbeard, I get it, man. But those types of moments are the moments that are absolutely worthwhile. Yvonne Lowe, for Trump to go from 2 weeks to right now, they must have had a threat or new intel that came in that we're unaware of, or it could be the intel that we're aware of. He could have just found out that sleeper cells were activated and been like, that's a fucking direct attack against the American people. Fuck you. I mean, that shit just dropped this morning. I don't find it coincidental that we dropped bombs this afternoon when that news just broke this morning, that sleeper cells were told to activate and attack. And we know there's at least 1,000 sleeper cells, at least, in this country because of the open borders we had the last 4 years, which everybody was like, this is insane. We can't fucking have this. What are we doing? And now it's a real threat, dude. Timothy Brock, 6132 in the Marine Corps. I saw what small ordnance does. Can't imagine a 30,000-pound multi-stage bunker buster. I know. I want to know if we get to see it. I want to know if we get to see video of them dropping those motherfuckers, bro. I'm sure they have video of it. I would love to see it. Panda Mike, What do you think the average American should do referring to the sleeper cells and or terrorist attacks? What should we watch out for in your opinion? Well, so I know that there's been multiple, over the last 5 years, there's been multiple terrorist attacks that were stopped by private citizens who saw something and they called it in. So if you see something that you think is suspicious, call it in. Stay frosty. Watch out for your neighbors. Stay strapped. If you have Second Amendment rights, stay fucking strapped. If you're on a plane and somebody's acting crazy, keep an eye on them. Be ready to jump in and handle business. I don't think we'll have another plane attack like we did with 9/11, but always be aware and hypervigilant of your surroundings, like you were me with my PTSD. Hulk smash. According to the Iranian TV, the 3 sites that were hit were evacuated 24 hours before the strike. Now there will be regime change. Well, regime change is kind of what the people have wanted. I mean, I'm just saying that regime has been kind of fucked up. And while I don't want us playing world police and finger blasting everybody else's shit, a regime change for the people in Iran would be incredibly good. Mike Jones, Operation Praying Mantis 2.0. All right, let's see what they're saying, because this is actually live, and I want to see if we're getting any new info.
The right call. The regime deserves it. Well done, President Trump. Lindsey Graham says, to my fellow citizens, we have the best Air Force in the world. It makes me so proud. Fly, fight, win, Graham says. I believe we have a number of lawmaker reactions, so we're just going to go through these. Senator Fetterman, the Democrat out of Pennsylvania, says, as I've long maintained, this was the correct move by POTUS. Iran is the world's leading sponsor of terrorism and cannot have nuclear capabilities. I'm grateful for and salute the finest military in the world, Fetterman says. Moderate Democrat in the Senate. The majority leader, John Thune, Republican, says the regime in Iran, which has committed itself to bringing death to America and wiping Israel off the map, has rejected all diplomatic pathways to peace.
Yeah, so Yvonne, Fetterman has been agreeing more and more with the Republican Party. Like, I like Fetterman style. Like, I like that he's just a big dude, and if you see him out in public, he's wearing shorts and a fucking hoodie. He seems like just a normal dude who's for the common sense. And he really surprised and shocked me with his wild departure from just following the constant narrative of the left, and that he's with the left on some things and he's with the right on some things now. It's like the things that make sense to him, he backs. And I can respect that. Jim Adams said, YouTube censoring what I wanted to say here. Here's a fin for the channel, JD. I'm sorry about the YouTube censorship, my guys. I'm sorry. I think JD is drinking again. Drinking water, you fucking putz. James Frank, you suck at life. What would make you think that I'm drinking? I've been sober for 6 years, dog. I value my recovery over everything else in my life because everything else goes away if I start doing dumb shit, bro. I'm not that dude. You could suck a dick. I don't like that. Chris Kane, current administration is on that Sun Tzu shit when it comes to world affairs, and I kind of dig it. All warfare is based in deception and never let them know what the next move is. And that's why I said, go back and watch the live. When he said, we'll figure it out in the next 2 weeks, I said, I bet within the next 48 hours. And I think that was 2-3 days ago. So I wasn't off by much. If I was off by 24 hours. I said, I think he does this in the next 48 hours. You don't let the enemy know when you're going to strike, unless you're a complete and total idiot. This isn't like two dudes that are friends getting the ones because they have a disagreement. This is on some different shit, bro. You don't let them see it coming. Jeremy said Fetterman is the only voice of reason for the Democratic Party. And, I thought it was funny that they had to, literally change the dress code because he wasn't showing up in a suit. Hulk smash. Another fact is the crown prince that would take over. His daughter just married a Jewish businessman. That is interesting. Don't drink, JD. I'm doing it for you. Dale, get it for me, bro. I like literally have no fucking urges to drink, bro. Like, I never want to drink. Like, I don't want to smoke meth. I don't want to drink. None of that shit sounds fun to me anymore. I'm too old for that shit, bro. I take prostate meds, not meth. Ariel Short, military getting served steak and lobster. Oh, man. I hope not. I hope there's no deploying anyone anywhere. Red Dog Glock, terrorists wanted nukes. Fuck around and find out. Butt Knuckles, stay vigilant this 4th of July. That is a really, really fucking good point right there. If they wanted to do an orchestrated attack, the 4th of July would be a very good time to actually make a symbolic attack. So please, everybody, stay frosty on the 4th of July because we know there's sleeper cells out there. Steamboat, weed rules though. I don't have any problem with other people smoking weed at all whatsoever, man. I can't do it. I can't. It just gives me the fear, bro. You know, I wish that THC was an option in case I ever need pain management, but it gives me the fear. So I don't even know what I would do, bro. Roman Wolf Gaming. If a man ever had nuclear weapons to begin with, they would have negotiated a long time ago. They always act like they had something to hide. They acted shady, and like honestly, with them making a call to activate sleeper cells in the U.S., that was an act of war, in my opinion. Hands down, flat out. Now, if you want to debate whether or not that information was valid or just a preemptive excuse, I accept that. I accept all conspiracy theories here, guys. I'm willing to talk about all conspiracy theories, but that information was given to us this morning, and I was like, we're probably going to drop those bombs today. And then it happened. Rob said, JD, I love your stuff. Keep at it. I like the real-time shit. Stay sober. We love your stuff. Not gay, just saying. Bro, it's no Diddy. I love you too, homie. Appreciate you. And Yvonne said, can we send illegals over to fight? They'll self-deport back to their home country. I mean, I think that, like, honestly, I 100% think that we need an easier path to immigration for people that sincerely want to come over here for the right reasons. I think that we need very rigorous background checks, but I think we should streamline the process. And I think that joining the military is a great way to allow people to do that. So I know that, like, part of that was a joke, but no, I actually agree with that. I think that we should be allowing people that want to immigrate an easier path and a better path, but we have to know who the fuck we're letting in, period. Panda Mike, JD needs to start a news network on Pepper Box with Donut as your co-anchor and Angry Cops as the field reporter, and JD gets high on life, only gets high on life. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. That would be great, man. Plasma Owl, remember Trump's immediate reaction to getting a shot in the ear? Long live America. So I'm going to say this. I am not conservative. I'm not liberal. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. But it gave me a funny fucking tingling all the way in my soul when I saw that footage of Trump literally getting shot in the ear, hitting the ground, coming up with blood on his face and fist pumping, saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think if you saw that and you didn't, like, at least go, fuck. I don't know if you're American, dog. Kraz Kilo said, we're going to disagree on a lot of shit, but America has always been terrorist. I know y'all go take that shit wrong, but who started most of the wars or gave weapons? I don't agree with most of the wars that America has been in, bro. I don't agree with most of the wars that this country has been in. I'm always going to back my home team, though. Hands down. Jeremy said, better to stay safe than sorry. Nothing to worry. Nothing is worth risking your sobriety. I came from a family of addicts, a bug I somehow avoided. And I'm proud of you for that, bro. I know 100% that had to have been hard for you. I love a lot of addicts that are still out there, man. And it's fucking heartbreaking. Corpseman Kind, young men start preparing for the draft. Run, pull up, swim. don't get meathead bulky. I don't know that we're going to do the draft. I hope and pray that we don't have to touch down boots anywhere, bro. But I mean, I'm not the most educated person on the planet. And you know, I might be speaking unobjectively on that, and I will admit that because I don't want it to happen. Super Korean, one of the mechanics in my platoon in Korea got his citizenship there. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. Timothy Brock, immigrant citizenship through military service is called neutralization. See? JCC, doesn't North Korea have a more advanced nuclear program? They do. And we have multiple military installations in that area. Shouldn't we keep this energy for them as well? Also, if they want the West to fall? Well, I think that they're actually like, so there's enemies that you take head on and there's enemies that you're diplomatic with. And in my opinion, and literally who the fuck am I? I'm a dude with a YouTube channel. You know, some of my takes are good. Some of my takes are bad. And I totally accept that. But I think that, you know, do I think that North Korea is a threat? Absolutely. I think they're a threat. But I think it's easier and better and the path of least resistance to stay diplomatic with them. I don't think they're as likely to send people over here with dirty bombs and suitcases. I think that it's best to stay somewhat neutral with them and be diplomatic. NM08, do you agree with mass deportation of innocent immigrants? I agree with people that are here illegally doing it the legal way, my guy. That was a very slighted way that you asked that question. I agree with people that are here being here the legal way and using the legal means. And I think that we need to make it easier for people who want to immigrate here to do it legally. But I don't like the way you worded that question. It's like you were trying to set a trap. And I think it was dishonest, disingenuous, and I think it was asked in bad faith, my guy. Joel Hoover, great guy to follow on this is Ryan Macbeth. He just posted that he's expecting U.S. bases in the AO to get hit by missiles. And see, that is one of my major fears. It's one of my major fears because we do have bases that are within their reach. And if they hit one of our bases, that would absolutely escalate our involvement in this situation. We would definitely escalate at that point. And that's the last thing that I want to see. I don't want to see us getting dragged or taunted or, coerced into fighting this war. Callie R, love you, JD. Keep on doing great work. I've been sober for 8 years. You're amazing. Love your content. Hijacks, love you too. We love you, Callie. Congratulations on 8 years. That is absolutely amazing. Texas Mike, we just pissed off Russia. Russia is basically, I mean, unless something immediately has come out, the last thing we heard from Russia is, yo, we're kind of out of this. If you want me to help, do some diplomatic shit or whatever, I got you. And Trump told Vlad, worry about your own war. Worry about getting yourself out of your war that you're in right now. Corpseman Kind, Biden left the border open for 4 years. Iran could have 12,000 or 10,000 sleeper cells. Pray we don't see attacks. If that happens, a draft is inevitable. Be ready. And I understand that. Looking at it from that perspective, I totally understand that. DK said, I know this is a serious situation, but I can't be the only one who's looking forward to the next habitual line crosser video. That is facts. Look for the light in the dark. Definitely look for the light in the dark, my guy. Archangel Michael George Akbar. Stay with the agenda, people. Fake alien invasion, first the World War III, and perhaps a few Jebuses. Bro, you fucking rock, dog. You mad jackass? We still need an Alien versus Predator program. That would be helpful. So let's see what they're saying on this live and see if we've got any.
Decisive action prevents the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, which chants death to America, from obtaining the most.
Okay, I don't want to hear this. I want to see if there's any
30 Tomahawk missiles fired by U.S. submarines 400 miles away struck the Iranian nuclear sites of Natanz and Festivus. Your reaction to these little more, some significant information now coming through from Sean Hannity. Your reaction?
Well, first off, that sounds about right. For Fordo, I would like to see. I really think 6 is probably about right. I'm not saying there's a Goldilocks formula in targeting, but based on everything that I know about or have learned about the facility itself and the underground portion of it and the geophysics of what was to be negotiated there and trying to take out that underground facility, I think that's about right. That's probably about right, and that would have involved at least 3 B-2 bombers in order to pull that off, and so that's a significant flight. The other one's kind of interesting. That's a bit of a revelation. It wasn't, assuming, obviously we assumed that the B-2s were being used, but that doesn't mean the B-2s were being used for everything. And that's interesting because the other sites, I didn't see where they necessarily needed the GBU 57s, those massive ordnance penetrators, to deal with the underground structures, bunkers, whatever. Other things that can deal with that are in the inventory, and they use Tomahawk missiles. Now, I'm going to tell you from someone who's actually been in charge or commanded teams that do this stuff, where I've always been a fan of Tomahawk missiles. All right, I'm just going to tell you, I like employing them. Okay, I know that's a little strange, but I've always found them to be a very utilitarian weapon.
I see a lot of people in the chat that seem to be like super concerned about things like the draft. Super Korean just gave a really good point. There's not going to be a draft. We were in war for 20 years in 2 theaters without a draft. What makes anyone think there's going to be one now? I think that's a really good point. I think multiple people have made points on both sides. Delta Sniper said, Iran called Trump's bluff. Trump wasn't bluffing. I don't feel bad for Iran. I mean, clearly. NM8, just so you know, I've already supported you 100%. You even gave a shout out to my son Bandit at one point. It wasn't shade, just a question. Okay, I appreciate that, bro, and I apologize. It just seemed like with the way that you worded the question, like it was setting a trap. And like, here's the thing is that I 1000% have so much sympathy for people that are caught in the crosshairs of this thing. There are a lot of people who just want to come here for a better life. That's why I always say, explicitly say, that we need to make an easier pathway for lawful immigration, because I feel like we put up too many barriers. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we make it too difficult. And I haven't seen any proof of people just being dragged out of their homes that were, not involved with some shit yet. So, but I would like to see us have an easier way of having it, but just having open borders for 4 years fucked us, bro. It caused a lot of damage. Super Bear Jew, what's up? Hey, I'm Canadian, but could use this big brain play from Trump administration to get Iran to see why they don't want smoke. Seriously. Thumbtack. And by the way, love you, Super Bear Jew. Kudos to you for how you handled that last question. Too many people on some bait and switch shit nowadays trying to make people look bad. Well, I think that honestly, maybe the question was asked completely honestly and from a good faith perspective, but people are emotional about the situation, and I completely understand that. I understand people being horrified by what they're being told by the media. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of things being canonized to try to set the American people against each other. And I'm not with that shit. I don't want the American people against the American people. That does not help us at all. That helps. I don't think it should be left versus right. I think it should be down versus up. And there's a lot more of us than there is of them. Backwoods Templar said, acta non verba deus volt. You know that I completely did not get one single syllable of that pronounced correctly. Latin for deeds, not words. God wills it. If something happens to any of our people, turn the sands to glass. Turn the sands to glass. I love that, bro. Tyler said, the algorithm has brought me to your channel, and I'm glad it did. I appreciate your content. Tyler, I love you, and this isn't a channel. This is all of our community, you included, and we're so glad to have you here. Kraz Kilo, they also said that they had WMDs in Iraq. Don't tell me shit about being in a war zone for no reason. If y'all agree with it, go enlist. I honor and respect your service and your sacrifice, my guy. I completely understand. We are where we are at this point with this, and that's what we're talking about. Red Dog Glock. Liberals worried about the draft. Go transition. Ooh, damn. Shots fired. Roman Wolf Gaming. JD, have you ever watched the show One Piece? Guns aren't for threats, they're for action. The same could be said about nukes. I really enjoyed One Piece. I really did. Roman Wolf. Okay, that's the same question. Pretty Bird. Hey, JD, my husband and I are fans. I don't have fans. I have friends and family. We love you here. My little one is almost 3 and is perfecting her wood chipper yell. That is the cutest thing I've ever heard, and that made my heart sing. Thank you so much. Mr. Roman, first time, don't like this bombing crap at all, bro. Look, I understand. And everybody is entitled to their opinion about this. I don't know all the information. I'm trying to make sense out of all of this. I don't know all the information. So I'm just going through this, trying to learn about this with you guys at the same time as taking in the information. Michelle Marie said, I'm in favor of the new media and how we can get unbiased information. Facts. You know, I'm taking in everybody's opinions and I'm giving voices to people. I'm learning as we go along. And that, I think, is an important part of this. I haven't fully formed an opinion about this myself. Raven Poe, I don't know how true it is, but Bill Ryan video back in 2010, you may want to watch it. It's interesting. Would be interesting to hear your POV. God bless the USA and our troops. Chris Kane, dude, while I was waiting for my food, had a whole lot of opinions about it. Lost his leg in a war and is pro-Iran on the matter. I mean, bro, I respect other people's opinions on things. I still haven't formed mine on this situation. I don't think we have enough information on it yet. Nuke Punk, much love from Canada. You are an inspiration. Much love right back to you up there, our brother in the north. Sphinx, is there a community Discord? Also, feck YouTube censoring. Tried a few phrases in super chats and it hated all the things. We do have a Discord, my man. And if our mods have time, I know they're super overwhelmed right now, but if our mods have time, they might be able to drop that link. Craig Farmer, JD, love you, bro. I don't always agree with every opinion of yours, but nothing wrong with all of that at all. I see your heart's good as I see your heart, bro. It's good. From an ex-meth addict to another, I'm beyond proud of you. Keep it up, and let's make pedophiles afraid again. Craig Farmer, I am often wrong, and I fully understand that. I fully admit to that. You know, my opinion changes as I get new information. I am never stuck on, I have to stick with this because I said it. If I'm wrong, I'm going to come and I'm going to admit it. And I think that that's something that all of us should be able to be humble enough to do because I'm wrong often, bro. Archangel Michael George Akbar, ask the Aboriginal people of Maralinga about nukes. Mob True Crime. Israel Intel was behind Epstein. American kids were used as molestation bait to ensnare elites. When are the files coming out? Both Iran and Israel are. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that last part right there. Carnage Carney. Hello from Calgary. Love to the channel. Keep it up. Love you out there, homie. Big love and respect. All right, so I want to see what the new is and see if they are giving us any breaking info.
Now the U.S. is getting involved in that fight. Does that mean the U.S. is at war?
You know, there's no declaration of war. We haven't had declaration of war since World War II. I don't know if Congress would be too inclined to declare war on Iran. And by law, I think the War Powers Act, the clock has already started ticking based on what I've seen. But what I will say is this: we are now part of this conflict, part of this war, if you will. I think it's certainly fair to say that Iran and Israel are at war, and we have now entered in as a party to that conflict on the side of Israel, obviously. And so we are a party to it. The question is, what will Iran do? Will Iran now try to broaden the conflict to start targeting U.S. facilities, bases, assets, interests in the region and potentially out of the region? Will they try to do that? And if they do, then I'm sure there's a lot of contingency plans, as I mentioned, branches and sequels of the current plan as to how to best address dealing with that. But I have to think that within Tehran, within the Iranian people, once this information has been disseminated, once it's been absorbed, once the information is sort of metastasized, if you will, within the body politic of Iran, there's going to be some very deep questions about the regime. And part of it will be, can they actually perform as a government to do that core function of protecting Iran and the Iranian people? And everything I see now says that the decision by the Iranian people, regardless of everything else, regardless of whatever they say publicly to any reporters on the streets or whatever, the reality will be no, the government cannot protect the Iranian people, cannot protect the nation state of Iran. All right.
See, I'm not as concerned. Like, I feel bad. So the people of Iran are in a really bad spot with the current regime. I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want our people involved in that. I don't want any of that. And I see people asking, and this has been a routinely asked question, why is Israel allowed to have nukes if Iran isn't? Israel is our ally. Israel is one of the US's oldest, strongest allies. And so if you're looking at it from a world perspective of like, it's not fair, it doesn't really matter. Our military is the strongest military on the face of the planet. We're going to tell our enemies certain rules of engagement. And Israel is one of our allies. So that's why, because America's a bunch of bullies, bro. America's a bunch of bullies. We put our shit where it probably doesn't belong over and over again. A lot of the time it's for oil, or it's because, we found huge amounts of poppy fields that's worth as much as the oil is. There's different shit that we've done that's fucking terrible. We've done terrible shit. But straight up and out, as far as Iran, who's been chanting death to America for 50 or 30 years, whatever the fuck, no, they can't have nukes because we say so. And we can fucking turn them to glass. That's why they can't. Thumbtack, hell love to the mods for what they got to do and deal with people have never seen or had to deal with. Hey, so much love and respect for the mods here. So much love and respect for the mods. Appreciate that comment too. Thank you for recognizing them, family. Chris Kane, oh, by the way, JD, I have your shoe shipment. Jax's is stuck at a US UPS facility, but they're still coming. Chris, thank you so much, homie. I appreciate that so much. Huge love to you, fam. Hell yeah. Dominar is here, and Dominar said there are always too many Democratic congressmen, too many Republican congressmen, never enough U.S. congressmen. That is anonymous, but I love whoever said that. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's part of what comes out of this. So I think that. Well, about two things, and we mentioned that we talked about this a little bit earlier. Two things I'm going to listen for is number one, which we're getting more information on, which is battle damage assessment. Part of that too, again, is we just got word on the nature of what was employed in these strikes. The B-2 bombers with the GBU-57s, those massive ordnance penetrators, those 30,000-pound bombs. 6 of those were used at Fordo. That tells me that when that text went out saying that Fordo is gone, 6 of those things hitting Fordo, yeah, that kind of implies Fordo was gone. As far as any sort of nuclear facility or whatever, it is anything underground has been completely wiped out. And frankly, with 6 of those bombs going in there, my guess is anything above ground has been destroyed or decimated as well. So that's gone. Then the other one was, and this is where we're kind of speculating, which was what would they do? And we didn't know if they'd use other types of weapons or it was just B-2 bombers. What were they doing at the other two sites, Isfahan and Natanz? And I didn't know if they had significant underground facilities that would require something on the order of a GBU-57.
Hey, Bear Gibson, I love you, bro. It's so good to see you. It always warms my heart when you come through, family. Texas T said, Iran, the world sponsor of terrorists, would you trust them with a nuclear weapon? Absolutely, and I cannot stress this enough. The fuck not. I've always maintained we should not allow Iran to have any type of nuclear weapon. Now, here's the thing is that Israel's been pump faking us for 20 years on they're 2 weeks away, they're a month away from nuclear capabilities. So it's hard to trust Israel, but we definitely can't trust Iran. The attack only happened after the president of Iran put a hit on President Trump, then gave him 2 weeks. Iran fucked around and became 2 days and found out. And Texas T, that's what I'm saying is also, it was just said this morning that they had activated sleeper cells. And there's a lot of sleeper cells in our country right now. And we know that. So that could be considered a direct fucking attack for them to activate those, to give that order. Lily said, you are awesome. Love you and the wife. God bless you both. We love you and God bless you too, sis.
Certainly a very capable weapon, but maybe not necessarily the weapon that I would use at those particular facilities. Well, as it turns out, as we know now, that they use the Tomahawk missiles to hit them. So I'm going to be listening to the battle damage assessment. Well, how much was destroyed? What was the scope of how they were destroyed? What has this done to Iranian capabilities going forward? I'm going to listen to that. Then the other thing we'll listen to very closely is what is our intent now? Is this way a proverbial one and done? We did this massive strike. And by the way, we've done that in the past where we've done massive strikes. And then there's nothing else we do.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's best case scenario. That's what I'm hoping for here. Do the strike, get the fuck out, let everybody over there figure out their fucking issues. Let's not get further involved. Now, of course, whether or not they retaliate is definitely going to determine whether or not we stay uninvolved. Hey, Joey Patron. Your dad wanted me to give you a shout out, man. I love you, dude. Thank you for being here with us. Your dad is a badass. I'm so glad that you guys are a part of this community. Your dad said you guys are fans. I don't have fans. I have friends. And I love you and your dad, brother. Ethan Potts, JD, should I re-up? Absolutely not. I mean, on protein powder, bro, on creatine, on white monsters. I don't know what you're re-upping on, but don't do no dumb shit. I love you. Every single bag you get could be the one that kills you, homie. Sam M, I love your channel and content. 100% believe you are a leader in your space. After 7.6 years spent in California, CYA, I support your energy. Let's go. Hey, man, it's so much better out here in the free world, and I'm glad you're here with us. I love you. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Big respect. Joel Hoover, they also estimate at least 500 plus U.S. KIA were killed in action were because of Iran and Iraq. I did not know that. Thank you for educating me. Mr. Tungus, the goal is to weaken the current Iranian government to enable their people to remove Ayatollah from power to gain their freedom back, gone since 1979. And I absolutely think that this could be what tips that scale. I just don't want to see us over there finger diddling anything and making our situation more involved, if you know what I'm saying. Turd Ferguson, aside from Hamas, Diddy Piker, who really wants Iran to have nukes? Obama and Clinton both did airstrikes and nobody cared. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And I just like to say, fuck Hamas, Diddy Piker. Chuck Bronson, I see you. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you. Pretty Bird, I don't trust anyone with nukes. I wish that nobody had that type of capability, but if anybody's going to have it, we have to have the biggest ones. So I'm glad we do. Bobby Evans, thank you, bro. Love your stuff. Love you too, Bobby. Appreciate you, man. Oh, re-up is in rejoin the service? Man, that's 100% on you. When I think of re-up, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. If you meant re-enlist, I'm sorry. I apologize. When I think of re-up, that's what we called going and getting more drugs. So don't get drugs. If you want to re-enlist, that's entirely a decision that you have to make for yourself and your family, brother, and your country. Sleeping Fugly, I think that guy was asking if he should re-up, re-enlist. Guys, I fucked up. I told you guys when I fuck up, I'm always going to be like, yo, I fucked up. I fucked up, you guys. I think he was asking an honorable question, and I made it about drugs because I was a degenerate for so long, and I want to personally apologize to you, bro. If you were talking about re-enlisting, I'm so sorry that I took it to a fucking dumb place. That's just me and my personal life experience, and I'm very sorry, dude. I'm very sorry. That's a decision you would have to make for yourself and for your family and for your country, brother. I respect whatever you do. Grant Hawkins, thank you for everything you do to inspire those of us who thought there was no way out. Celebrating 5 years in September. One love, my brother. One love to you, bro. I appreciate you so much. Hell yeah, 5 years is incredible. Clinton said, about time we started acting like the superpower we are. There were 4 superpowers, US, China, Russia, Iran. Out of those 4, 2 are now screwed. We do what we need to do, not what I do not wish needless death. I don't want to see anybody die except pedophiles and weirdos. But Iran can't have nukes, bro. I'll stand on that. Benjamin Nicholas, congrats on being free. Did I read that no one was killed? I saw a chat saying Trump assassin was more deadly. So look, from what the reports are saying, I don't think anyone was killed in these bombings. They're saying that they were evacuated. These facilities were evacuated 24 hours before we did our bombing. Rippity, I'm an atheist, but I agree with 90% of what you say, especially about the wood chipper. Love to see your support in the community. And I 100% respect you being an atheist. I was for quite a long time. And there's room for everybody here, man. And I love you and I respect you. Let's see here. Kratz said, if he want to re-up before re-enlist, it's on him. Turd Ferguson said, Hamas Diddy Piker, so want a nuke collab. In and Out of the Abyss said, we pay Israel tax so they can get our sons erased. Richard Rip, thank you so much. Kevin Cisco at chat, watch the Fat Electrician video about how we obliterated half of Iran's Navy back in the 80s. Oh, that was the 80s. They're better now. So are we. We most definitely have gone a long way since the 80s with our capabilities, man. Those
Those who don't know, there are 2 dominant faith groups, if you will, within Islam. One is Sunni, and that's Saudi Arabia is kind of the lead for that. All right. And the other is Shiite, and Iran is the lead for that. Now, of the 2, the Sunnis far outnumber the Shiites, but in Iran, the Shiites way outnumber the Sunnis. In Iraq, the Sunnis are actually.
This is so important to me, you guys. I need to stop this. This is so important to me. Our friend Bear Gibson, who has been a part of this community for so long, and he has been with us. He has come to us for help. He has shared his victories with us. He has been kind and supportive to others. He has been such a good human being, and we love him to the bone. Bear said, I am 6 months sober today. Second best decision I ever made. I credit you for inspiring me and puring up with me during my crash out. Much love and respect to you and Jax, brother. Hey, check it out, man. I am so absolutely proud of you, dude. I am so absolutely proud of you. And you did that work. And I want you to credit yourself. And I want you to love yourself because you are the one who put in that work, dude. You did that. You are capable. You did the last 6 months. You could do the rest of your life. And I believe in you with every fiber of my fucking being, Bear. I am so proud of you and I love you, my guy. Richard Rip, much love from Longview, Washington. Love you, fam. We love you too. Logan Barnett. I almost said your name wrong. I apologize. Much love from Indiana, JD. Hamas, Diddy Piker needs gone, man. Let's get after it in the gym, boys. Hell yeah, Logan. I'm with you on that. Hell yeah. Let's see. Timothy Brock said phone overheating, gotta go. We love you, Timothy. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize about that. One, I love the shirt you're wearing. And two, your videos help me get through tough days at work. Thanks for everything, JD. You rock, brother. We love you, bro. We love you.
Actually, the majority of the population, or the Shiites, the majority of the population. The Assad family was from the Alawites, which are Shiite. And then in Lebanon, Hezbollah really captures predominantly the representation of the Shiites within there. But the society is, broken down between Sunnis, Shiites, and then Christians for the most part in Lebanon. And then you see various pockets of Shiite stuff, such as you see with the Houthis as well. And so Lebanon, Iran being taken out of the equation completely changes the math across the region, because there is no longer this big state sponsor of these Shiite groups, and the militias, the Shiite militias that are basically fomenting terrorism and paramilitary threats within Iraq. We'll have to take that into account. Any resistance to the current government in Syria that's based on Shiite and Alawite affinity, we'll definitely have to take this into account. Hezbollah may finally decide shortly thereafter that they're going to lay down their arms. I'm not saying I foresee that, but I see it as a very likely outcome that what the Lebanese government has been doing in those discussions could really bear fruit very quickly here. And then the Houthis are going to have to do a little bit of self-examination, which is, who are we and what can we do going forward? And how do we survive without an Iranian state sponsor? So what you could end up seeing is a complete reset, strategically speaking, of what we've known for decades, or many years, but certainly decades across the Middle East.
So you guys, apparently Trump is going live in 8 minutes, and he will be talking to us about what has gone on and giving his statement. I am going to stay on until we get that statement. If anybody is looking forward to that, I definitely want to hear what he has to say about this. I would like to get his take on what has been done and what the move is from here. I'm hoping that he gives us more intel on exactly why this happened and where we are going from here. DK said, saw the best thing on Facebook that said, Iran talking crazy to us like our president ain't got 34 felonies. I know that's right. Logan Barnett said, been going strong in the gym for 10 weeks now. Lost 15 pounds. Hell yeah. If I could do it, so can you. Boys, get after it now. Hell yeah, brother. Proud of you. Congratulations. All right, so yeah, we're definitely going to be watching to see what Trump has to say on this.
This will be a big change. By the way, I should mention something else.
Weeks away from being able to build a nuclear bomb. We've seen over the past 9 days, the country has the ability to
I like this footage better than that old dude
in Israel with ballistic missiles.
This is way better than that old dude.
Having a nuclear warhead that could ultimately be attached to a ballistic missile would clearly be a direct threat to the Jewish state. And that was why the Israelis said that they made the decision to start these strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities and against top IRGC officials. And clearly tonight, President Trump ordering these strikes against the Iranian regime's nuclear program because there was no off-ramp for diplomacy at this point. And so this is a historic moment in the Middle East tonight, and again, an opportunity for the region, as the president laid out in his statement, for peace in the future, because this is a region that understands peace through strength.
Trey Yingst reporting earlier today with Brett Baer. Hal Kempfer is still.
Rippity said, I mean no disrespect by my atheist statement. No disrespect taken at all whatsoever, bro. I respect everybody's beliefs. I 100%, there's room for all of us here. I love you. and I respect you. He said all walks on earth deserve respect, but I feel like I click with your state sentiment and love the commune. Look, man, my idea of God is a very loving idea of God. And I don't expect everybody to have the same views as me. I love everybody and I want to respect everybody. And honestly, anybody who has differing views from me, that makes us stronger as a group, as a community. Our differing views make us stronger. Texas T said, for those of us who say they can't nuke America, remember America built backpack bomb in the 50s. Iran was making a cobalt bomb, aka dirty bomb, that can make a city the size of Houston uninhabitable for 3,000 years, radiation only. And that is exactly why I say we cannot allow them to have a nuke. Period. On the end of that sentence. I do not think we can allow them to get a nuke. Cody Collins said September 22nd, 1979, U.S. satellites picked up a possible nuclear explosion in the ocean of South Africa. South Africa and Israel collaboration deemed most likely. They might not be bluffing.
In mind.
Fact.
And it's this unique.
So we are going to be, Trump is going to be live
this
in 4 minutes
in the region. Ceases to be this fomenter of terrorism for not just in the Middle East, but terrorism all over the world, but particularly in the Middle East. This, that's been supporting all of these, extremist Shiite militia groups, Hezbollah, Hamas, was behind the perpetrator, was basically behind the October 7th attack being able to take place. If this is, and of course, not to mention the Houthis, basically stopping shipping in one of the globe's most important sea lanes for the amount of time that they had. If this is taken off, it changes the entire strategic picture of the Middle East, because Iran is so important as a provider of oil and also in terms of location for China, because they're such an important supporter of Russia in providing them drones and ballistic missiles and everything else. This could be one of those pivotal points where we see a big change, the second, third order.
Benoit asked if I'm going to sign up for the military. My guy, I tried to sign up for the Marines a long time ago. It turns out they don't take felons, and they definitely, at this point in my life, they're not going to take a felon that's in his mid-40s, bro. There's 0.0% chance that they would take me. But if anybody ever tries to invade this country, if anybody puts boots on the ground here, I might not legally be able to own a gun, but I'm going to protect my country to the fucking bone. We can figure out the legalities later, man. If I have to go spend some time in prison for picking something up to protect this fucking country, then yeah.
Centers, everything. I mean, they're a very unpopular regime for a lot of all the reasons that a regime would be very unpopular. They're also this regime that does not allow any sort of free elections or anything we consider. They scope in the elections, so only the parties or the candidates that they will hand pick are ever allowed to show up on the ballot, and then they pretty much put their thumb on the scale to make sure that whomever they want is the person that's elected. And then over the government is this, the supreme leader and his council, which are all a bunch of theocrats that basically control the country. So that's what it is, and it's this Shiite extremist belief. Since 1979, when they overthrew the Shah of Iran, they have basically built their brand on two things: destruction of Israel and death to America. That's their two favorite bumper sticker phrases. That's what they kind of identify with. And this constant, never-ending struggle, some would say war, if you will, although technically in Arabic, well, I should say jihad is an Arabic term, and jihad actually means struggle. It doesn't always mean war per se, although when we say jihad, we normally mean.
Okay, so I don't know if they're going to be doing the Trump Live over here. So we are going to be jumping over here because it does say very specifically that they are waiting for Trump to jump on, and I want to see what he has to say about this. So we are going to see what he's got popping over here. This very specifically says that it's going to be talking about it, and I want to know. I'm nosy. I'm a nosy little bitch. I want to hear what's happening. Stream will begin soon. Okay. So while we wait, I want to get some comments. Dementia Sweets, this cost my support for Trump. And I think that's fair. If you disagree with Trump on things, that's totally, absolutely fair. Mars Ave said, my wife and mom love you, sir, for sure. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. It's a well-known fact there are guns everywhere in America. Gregory, absolutely. Suryu Gospel, JD, nothing wrong with being nosy once in a while. It's kind of my deal, kind of my thing. C-Mac said, remember when Trump said he wants his legacy to be as a peacemaker? Well, bro, he's not really a peacemaker if he allows people that chant death to America to get their hands on a nuke, bro. I mean, I don't think a single person was killed, but I think that from what he's saying, he took out, nuclear facilities. Benoit, you're being really disingenuous with your comments, bro. You're being really kind of an asshole. I don't know what got up inside your vagina. No, I'm not okay with your nephew going to war. And I've said that I don't want to see a single pair of boots on the ground over and fucking over again. So I don't know why there's crust in your cunt right now, guy. I've said that over and over again. Then you ask if I'm going to join. I've told you I've tried. But I'm just going to say, man, stop being a bitch. Like, tighten the fuck up, bro. I don't know how many times I have to say I don't support us having fucking a military presence on the ground for you to understand it. Just because you can't fucking understand what's going on doesn't mean that I'm not on point, dog. So tighten up.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was what he has to say about it. I think he just said, don't start any more shit. He said, everybody calm the fuck down because we have the biggest stick. And we just proved we have the biggest stick. And we have no problem proving that we have the biggest stick again. I think, I don't think that we've had a president who came out and laid it down like that. Like, from a military perspective, to be able to just come out and just be like, fuck around and find out. You just did that. You want more? Let's just all fucking breathe and not be idiots here. He drew a line in the fucking sand. And whether you like Trump or not, in times like this, you need somebody who's going to project power. You need somebody who is going to say, this is what the fuck it is. And so I think that was very well stated. Izzy Dark Lord, hey dude, how you been, bro? I don't know why people are being douches tonight. Don't agree with everything you say, but I love to ride out with you. Been too long. Love you, Izzy. It's so good to see you. There's just a lot of people in the chat. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people have differing opinions. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of emotions flying, and I understand that, bro. I understand that. Logan Barrett said, people be dramatic. Stay strong, JD. Ignore the haters. It's all good, man. We're all here, and we're all just doing the best that we can, and I love everybody. Texas T, 0 boots on the ground doesn't mean 0 bombs from the sky. I agree with that. We don't have to fight a conventional war. We can be heard in any leadership of Iran. Tell them to play ball without boots on the ground. And I think that's basically what he just said. He basically just said, we've got you guys in our fucking target. We've got you guys locked and loaded. If we want to get you, we could get you in a matter of minutes. So don't fuck around. And that's, I think, the only acceptable statement after the move that we just made is we can easily fucking finish this. We'll turn your desert to fucking glass. Don't fuck with the U.S. That's the only acceptable way to follow up the type of move that we just made. I test stuff. One of the LRA guys who'd be first in, happy to help end this terror state. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I don't know how you guys feel about what was just said. War is ugly. I detest war. I have seen enough violence in my life. I don't want to see any more violence. I don't want to see any more bloodshed. But if it has to be done, it has to be done fucking correct. It has to be done correct, and you have to come out sounding strong and backing up your words to the utmost. Otherwise, you're putting yourself and you're putting your people in danger. I feel like he did a good job with that address as somebody who's fairly objective and neutral when it comes from it. Crazy White Boy 420, totally off topic, but I'm almost like a week totally clean and sober. Hell yeah. Just wanted to say thank you because you are a good role model for people like me to look up to. God bless. Crazy White Boy, I'm telling you right now, I love my life so much sober. I wouldn't do anything to put it in danger or at risk, bro. There's not a single thing that I miss. My life is so much more exciting these days, and I thought it was going to be boring. I was terrified that my life would be boring if I was sober. I have not been bored, not once. And I love you, and I'm proud of you, dog. Keep it up. Butt knuckles! For the people being low-key douches, there's always been a world leader. Humans are tribal and have been forever. I'd rather have America be the world police because if we're not, someone else will be. Keep doing your thing, JD. I love you, Butt Knuckles. Big love and respect. Well, I love you guys. I got to jump out of here, man. I've had to pee for like an hour. I know somebody said that I'm a master of peeing in bottles and not letting you guys know, but that is not actually the case. I'm terrified that something would show, and then I would be like on that registry. So I got to go. I love you guys. Chris Kane said, don't make me stop this car and come back there, because if I do, you can both get it. The Dawn, probably. That's that energy, dog. Robin Hand said, I'm scared of retaliation, JD, and our men and women in the military. Is this going to throw us into World War III? Much love to you and Jax. I don't believe this is going to throw us into World War III, but I think the next 48 hours are going to be very telling. And I think everybody should just stay vigilant, and we should just have each other's backs and operate out of love. Till the next one love to each and every one of you guys. Thank you for riding out with us, and we're going to see you again soon. Be good or be good at it, baby. Do.